What's up, y'all? What's going on? Welcome to episode 7, Hidden Gems. Yeah, man, episode 7 here. This song always makes me happy, you know what I'm saying? So I have to play something to make me happy, you know? It's Friday. It's the weekend. Nobody better have weekend plans. Yeah, man, and we're getting into some good music today. You know what I'm saying? I got my main man, Keyon Harrold, here to join us. And I'm very excited about that. So, I'm going to bring him in a second. What's up, Bernard? Bernard, what's going on, bro? So, listen, if you guys... let me pause this for a second. So, listen, if you guys want to do more support the platform, support the series that we're doing. I've been getting a lot of support from a lot of people, man, and I can't express how grateful I am for all of you guys. You know, this podcast is definitely driven by people. So if you guys have, if you guys want to share the flyer and all that other good stuff, what's going on, Antoinette? You guys want to share the flyer and all that good stuff, man? Please holla at me. You know what I'm saying? And please holla at me because we could definitely make that happen. You know, I need a street team, so let's do it. So without further ado, let's give it up for our give a virtual hand clap for our special guest. This is Mr. Keyon Harrold. All right, let me put my music back on. Welcome them in the right way.
Word
What's
up.
up, man?
What's up, bro? What's the word? How you doing?
I have to get you some intro music.
Oh man, that's the vibe. That's that funk. Yes, sir.
Yo, man, that's one of my favorite songs of all time, bro.
Yes,
sir.
Sir.
Of all time, like for real. Anytime I'm bummed out, I just need a little pick me up. I'm throwing that joint on.
That's right.
You can't
Cheers
go
to that.
wrong. Yo, cheers, my man. You know what's funny?
Got me a little Cuban rum right here.
Yeah. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. Yeah, you know, I do this little thing from time to time where every time somebody posts a city, we do a little sip. You cool with that?
There it is.
All right, bet. All right, I'm gonna get my glass.
Give me a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my glass. Look, y'all rock out to the music. We gonna get some glass. So this is the deal. For every city that people say they from, me and Keyon will do a sip of whiskey. A sip, you know, because this is still an interview. We can't get too phased out over here. But
on your
people
behalf,
already
we will take part.
You're right. All right, cool. I'm gonna go get my glass. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Be right back. I gotta go refill my gas real quick. Be right back.
Woo! All right. So let's see what cities we got so far. All right, we got DC. Shout out to DC. We got the great city of Newark. That's Antoinette. I love you, Antoinette. That's my mom's, y'all, for real. Shout out to Newark. We got Philly in the house. Shout out to Philly.
Cheers to that. Boom.
we got Eugene, Oregon in the house. St. Louis.
What's up, Eugene, Oregon? The 420's coming up real soon.
Oh man, what you got any 420 plans?
Oh, me? Low key, I have a nice shipment from a friend of mine from the Bay Area. So,
yeah, I hear that. I hear that.
Shout
out to the Bay.
What's up, Squint? What's up, my brother?
I used to have a connect out there. That's funny. Yeah. Bay Area. So before we get into the album, man, I was just doing a little research on you, so I'm not coming in here like not knowing what's going on. But bro, I didn't know you had 15 other siblings. Like that's.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I actually have 16 siblings. I'm one of
Wow.
17.
Wow,
Yeah.
man. Dang. So where do you fall? I always thought I had a lot of siblings. I have I grew up the youngest out of 6. So where do you fall in the middle of 16? Or
in the middle,
you
like
right
in
in
the
the middle.
middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Middle child.
And then Emmanuel is like right behind you or right in front of you.
He is in front of me. He's older. People always think I'm the older brother, but he's older.
No, yeah, I got you, man. Shout out to Emmanuel Harrold, man, wherever you at in the world. I hope you're safe and all that stuff, man. Well, bro, I'm not gonna hold you long. We got about an hour, man, and a little bit under an hour. I just wanted to talk to you about, the record, the inspiration about the record. Like what, I feel like the musician that's a cold name. You know what I'm saying? So like, what was the inspiration behind that name?
The idea of the musician, man, was I worked on the Miles Davis movie with Robert Glasper and Don Cheadle. And like doing that music for that record was hard. It was crazy. It was a thing. Just basically standing on the shoulder of Miles Davis. It's like, okay, how do you do that?
Right.
As a trumpet player, you play, but it's like it's Miles Davis, man. It's like, okay, because you get like if you get the opportunity to do that for Bird, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my best, but how would that, really turn out in the end? Will I be able to do my own thing after I do this, or will I be, pigeonholed as this one thing?
That makes sense. What you're saying. Like you were concerned about being like every Miles Davis movie that comes out forward, you playing trumpet, but you ain't doing nothing else. I get what you're saying.
Exactly. So what happened was, I did my thing. I did I played. Basically, I was able to basically stand on the shoulders of Miles, and Don Cheadle and I were at South by Southwest a couple years ago, and what he said was, "Man, what you did for the music was magical, man. You were like like a magician." And I was like, "Man, I appreciate it." He was like, "No, seriously, like a magician, like a musician and a magician." And I was like, "Yeah, what, like the musician?" And he was like, "Yeah,
wow.
You're the musician." And when he came out,
that's what's up.
The panel talking about the music of the album, and the soundtrack. He introduced me, as Keyon Harrold, the musician. And from that was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go write the music to this thing. So that's how it started. Like the title was the thing that started the album.
That's what's up, man. So Don Cheadle gave you that name. Don Cheadle was the one that kind of christened you as the musician.
Yeah.
Dang, yeah. That's what. That's crazy. How did you and Don meet after the movie, or did y'all meet before the movie? Like, what? I guess how did you get the call about being in the Miles chair? Was it like something hooked up through Glasper? Was it a situation?
Yeah. Glasper was the composer for the film. So basically, he was like, "Yo, let me call Key, see if he's available to do it." So we had to basically go through this whole vetting process. Through the Miles Davis family and the state.
Right.
Basically,
shout out to Vince Wilburn, wherever he at. Shout out to Vince.
What up, Cat? We would have to, basically record, different stages of Miles. Basically, so when they heard it, they'd be like, okay, cool. So what I hear is that many people up high were fooled, and they actually thought it was like the quintet of like 64. Stuff like when we were playing, like when we were able to basically, put it down in that way. So from that, I got the opportunity. So what helped me a lot with the role of doing the Miles head, was just my skills for production, because a lot of the stuff I had to record myself in my own studio. So basically, one of the things with the Miles Ahead film is if you see other films that have to do with trumpet, obviously the trumpet only has 3 valves, you know, so you can tell if the note is C and somebody's pressing the first, you know, second valve, you know that that's not really a C, so you know it's fake. So through Miles Ahead, what happened was Don Cheadle would record his scenes, and he would send me the scenes, and I would basically have to take his scene, make it sound like Miles, but make the fingers right. The fingers was not right at all. So he could be doing like this, and I would have to make it make logical sense, make it sound like Miles, and also make it look right. You know, technically right, and make it like sync up to the picture. So that was a, you know, a process. And if I wasn't, you know, good at production, that probably would have never happened. So you can look, like I said, you can look at other movies, you'll see that, oh, that shit ain't even right. But that, all of the all of the fingers are right.
It was interesting, you know, because like I when I was in the movie theater, it was one note he was holding in that finger, and I was like, that's the actual note. And so I was like, man, that's crazy. Like I'm up here thinking Don Cheadle putting in work on the horn.
Yeah, hey, but that's the thing with Don, he can play the trumpet though.
That wait, was he a trumpet or a sax player before?
Sax player. Player. He told me the story that he wanted to go to well, he got a scholarship to go to Cal Arts, but it was either going to be in jazz studies or acting. Obviously, we know which road he took. So,
yeah, but he probably one of them. It would have went well either way. He would have went about it. But man,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely,
definitely incredible.
He's a talent. I've seen some of the music from the movie. He wrote a lot of the music. So you know, he plays the bass. He's a uber talented, well-rounded type of individual. So
you talked a little bit about recording the parts, you know, in a remote area. So for musicians who might lack technology in terms of recording parts at home, what would be your recommendation how to get started with that? You know, because right now during the quarantine, we're in a situation where it's like we don't have a lot of we don't have any opportunities to play as musicians. So most of the music that we're making now is going to be in our apartment, you know, in our little remote studio. So do you have any recommendations for like just starting to be able to track, you know, some basic stuff you can get so you can track out the house?
Got you. I would say, first of all, as a musician today, I think it's a part of your toolkit to be able to record, to know different programs, different apps, basically to record yourself and to be able to project yourself to the world as easy as possible, because, you know, there's not always a budget, you know, from a studio. There's not always a budget from, you know, from labels. So you got to be able to just say, you know what, I'm going to put this together and I'm going to put it out. Or I want to record, you know, or if somebody hits you up and like, you know what, I need that solo, I need that arrangement, you know.
By the way, I know I owe you an arrangement, Quentin. My bad. I'm working on it.
There you go.
But yeah.
No, but it's just one of those things that, first of all, you can save money. Second of all, you know, it's a thing that is just it's like learning scales. It's like a part of the toolkit that you should have as a musician in today's day. I would say, if you first thing, get a computer. If you get a computer, Mac, whatever you use, get a Mac, get a DAW, digital audio workstation like Pro Tools or Logic, or what's the other ones? So many now. Logic, Pro Tools. Get one of those. Get an interface. You know, PreSonus or an Apollo. United Audio. I'm saying Universal Audio, or I don't know. There's so many now that I can't even think of them. That is super easy, it's super cheap. I would say for about, you know, $300. You know, you can probably get a kit with a mic, with an interface. Hook that up to your computer. You know, learn that program, because that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, man. Well, I would definitely appreciate that. Well, listen, I want to make sure that we get into some tracks on the album. You know what I'm saying? And then we got plenty of other questions. So anybody listening right now, if you got questions, please hit the questions box on the bottom of your screen. We would love to, if we got time, we'll definitely answer some questions. I got a couple, you know what I'm saying, but it ain't a big deal. So if you guys have questions, feel free to hit them in the box. We're gonna go to I've been picking little select tracks, little select moments,
Okay.
man. So with the track, I first of all, I love the intro track with your mom.
Oh, thank you, man.
I thought it was just super beautiful. I mean, you could tell she's been instilling certain morals and certain guidelines and principles to you as a child, And I just thought I thought it was super dope. But let's talk about the second track with my man Josh David.
Yes, sir.
Yo, can you tell cats about Josh? Because I mean, it's one of them things. If you know who he is, you definitely know what he do. But if you don't know who he is, it's like, what I mean, you might be sleep on him. And Josh is so dope. So
man, Josh David Barrett, aka Antoine. We go way back, man. First of all, I know him when he used to go to school in New Jersey at William Patterson. And he was a bass player. He played the bass. And I met him with my boy Marlon Bonds from St. Louis. He introduced me to him. All of a sudden, he got the call to play with Common. I was already working with Common, and that's how we met. Just like that, just being cool. But, he went away for a while. And then all of a sudden, the next time I seen Antoine, his name was no longer Antoine, his name was Josh.
So you was like, Antoine, what's going on? He said, it's Josh, my brother.
Right. He was like, peace and love. He was a roster man after that. So, literally the head of the Wailers. So, took over the Bob Marley chair. That's a whole nother level. So anyway, for the record, one of my wishes was to work with him on something. So I felt like it was the perfect thing because we recorded the song, and it was kind of like, man, what would take this to the next level? So I called him, and that's, it was like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, the flavor he adds to the track, man, is just super, super dope, man. So we're going to get into this. This is off of The Musician. If you don't have Keyon's record, don't get off this live stream. But as soon as you get off, go get the record, my man Keyon Harrold. But this is off The Musician, and this is the title track off that record. So let's check this out.
Yeah, some people look on musician like he's magician, but the real magic is when we come together and work together. Yeah, it's more better than one. Don't bring up the magic, I don't really know the difference between magic and music, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't say magic, I wouldn't say music, but it's all in how you use it. Music is a tool, I is a vessel.
Man, been a minute since I heard this.
Say that again?
I said it's been a minute since I heard the album version.
Yeah. Bad. Let's see something. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what. From somebody. I'm going to post that up real quick for you so you can see it. Oh, all right. Let me get back over here to this side. All right. Cool. All right. And there it is. Sometimes I'll be rocking like an old man with this technology, man. You would think I'm 48.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I'll be all over the place. Well, I think the question was, have you ever worked with? Oh, there it is. All right, go. Here we go. Coming at you.
Have you done any collaborations with Esperanza? You know what? Christian Scott, that's my man, but he plays trumpet. We haven't done anything together.
Right.
That's my brother. Esperanza, we worked together briefly on the Miles Davis movie, on the Miles Ahead soundtrack. The closing song we worked on. It was with Esperanza Spalding, Gary Clark Jr., Robert Glasper, who else? Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, it was a pretty crazy scene.
Yeah. So, you know, Keyon, the first time I started personally hearing your name was when I was actually living in St. Louis. I was living there. Right. I was living there for a year. In 2010, I was teaching at in Riverview Gardens, which I know is pretty close to Ferguson. Mm-hmm. So I was curious, man, what high school did you go to out there?
I went to McClure.
McClure, okay.
Yeah. We was all in the suburban North Conference. We used to go at each other on the sports field, with Riverview. As a matter of fact, a funny story about Riverview is one of my best friends. His name was Marcus Beasley. He used to go to Riverview, and I went to McClure and I was playing football freshman year, and I was starting linebacker, and you know they got the ball, and you know they hiked the ball. And, you know, I tackled this kid. He's running like this tailback. I tackled him. Boom! Hit him hard. And I got up, and I couldn't feel my arm.
Oh, no.
Yeah. At that time, I was playing the trumpet. I was playing whatever. And it was the time for, like, all suburban jazz band tryouts. Bruh, I couldn't do the tryouts because I couldn't, like, my arm was fucked up. That's so crazy. That was one of the things that turned me from saying, you know what, I'm gonna be in the NFL.
You said, you know what, I might switch to this trumpet.
You know what? I'm not even gonna go after the sports thing anymore. So that was, you know, one of the things actually going against Riverview, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, man. So this next track, MB Lament, being from Ferguson, being from the area of St. Louis. I know, you know, Michael Brown was murdered. I want to back 2013.
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah. So I think I was 2 years out of the city, but I know for me personally, you know, working in that area, it hit close to home. So being from that area, how did it affect you seeing the turmoil in your city like that?
Man, it was it's the ultimate you know, first of all, the ultimate tragedy, and it just made me, first of all, it uncovered a lot of things about the city when it came to racism, when it came to just systemic racism and just a breakdown in the community. You really got a chance to really see the covers being removed. And it was in a national way, not a national, an international way. Yes. You know, to the point that, you know, I would see the scenes from the television and it would look like, you know, the West Bank, like somebody was bombing, like tanks on the street where I grew up, where I used to get my hair cut. Right. You know, by McDonald's, and, you know, where I used to go get penny candy, like literally. And I'd be like, wow, you know, they really make this city look like it's a war zone. You know, most people wouldn't know that Ferguson, you know, they would think it's all black, but shit, it was like, you know, 70% white, you know. It was just this one, you know, specific thing that just really just opened it all up.
Well, you know, when police act with, you know, a lot of times police will act with no impunity. You know, they'll just do whatever.
Absolutely.
And what I think what happened was, you know, Michael Brown's murder was able to unveil all of the corruption in that department.
Absolutely.
And Ferguson's not the only corrupt department.
No, it was that first of all, when you say Ferguson, and most people don't notice, you know, St. Louis County is made up of a whole bunch of different little cities, but it's all the same thing, you know, ran by the county Brown, and, you know, each one has their own thing, but they're all ran the same way. You know, you got the speed traps, you got the, you know what, if you get stopped, you better hope you don't have no warrants, even if you ain't driving, because you're going to jail, you know, or whatever, or they're going to make every time, you know, black people get pulled over, it looks like a scene off of Cops. You know, it's just, you know, but that was an everyday thing. It was so much so that I thought it was normal. When I moved to New York City, and, you know, I would see, you know, New York has their own issues, but
for sure.
I could walk down, you know, the street and, you know that the cop is probably not going to bother me if I'm not doing anything. St. Louis was totally different than that. It was like, listen, if you're here, we're going to have to see what's up with you. Why are you here? You know, what's going on?
For sure. So, one of the biggest concerns that I had before moving to New York was stop and frisk, and I got here when they were like, it was around 2013, so they were kind of getting out of it, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, even me being from Chicago, man, it's, you know, when I was a kid coming up, and if you saw the police and they saw you and they started them flashes, you know you was getting searched. Right. Stop and frisk it didn't matter.
Right, it's a part of the game.
Exactly. It's just part of it.
You have to figure out how to navigate.
In the wrong place at the wrong time or whatever, you know. But yeah, the cops wasn't asking, you know, about your rights and all of that stuff. And that's what I mean. That's when they operate like that, when they do stuff that they know is illegal, they know that is violating your constitutional rights, and they decide to do it anyway. That's when they're operating with no care for you as a human being. They just looking at you as a statistic, you know.
Exactly, and they assume that you know nothing. You know, they assume that you know nothing. Assume that you don't know your rights. They assume that, you know what, you're just a thug. You know, you just you're just another person with no vision and with no kind of, you know, future. So, ultimately, you know, it's a blessing to actually, you know, get out of that.
Yeah,
you know? So
for sure.
That whole Mike Brown incident definitely changed the game. Like, now I can go all over the world, you know, and say I'm from Ferguson, and people be like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
You know, I used to have to always be like, "I'm from St. Louis," but now it's different.
Yeah, man. Well, we're gonna get into this track dedicated to Brother Brown in the city of Ferguson. Once again, everybody who's listening, if you're enjoying these pods, man, please, you know, feel free to follow me. I got a special guest every Tuesday and Friday, including my man Keyon. And everybody, if you got a city you representing, feel free to shout it out. Me and Keyon doing
we're gonna take a shot.
And yeah, without further ado, this is MB's Lament off of The Musician. I hope you guys enjoyed this one.
All right, shout out to Darren Atwater, the amazing arranger for this string arrangement on here.
Oh, it was Atwater who did that.
Yeah. Man. Darren Atwater, the great.
Darren, I gotta write that dude. The string arrangements, man. That's what really took it. That's took it over the top.
Before you get into it, and if people can get a chance to really listen to it, the whole string arrangement was, first of all, I learned many lessons working with him on this. First of all, and I'll say this, you know, as a composer, as a musician, when you work with different people who you don't normally work with. Before this, I didn't really work with I worked with orchestras, but I had never had my own music orchestrated. So one thing to know is, if you ever, what up, Marquise? What up, Casimu, the homie?
Yo, Keith, what up? I know it's Trumpet City out here, brothers. Man.
You know, so one thing to know is, if you want somebody to arrange on your stuff, make sure it's the final version. Because if you do it again, you're literally working with a new arrangement or a new song. Even if it's the same song, it's different. So that's one thing I learned from Darren. So anyway,
understood. So like, you can't send them like You can't send them the partly finished version and be like,
No,
all right,
no,
write some
don't send
strings
no
to this.
demo. Send them the final version so people can write to that. And I know that for a fact now when I'm doing arrangements for people. Send me the final version. Send me the version that has the vocals. Send me the version that has everything you think is going to happen, because I don't want to, first of all, be writing a bunch of stuff that you just going to cut, or, not knowing where I'm soloing that's
Right.
where the lead vocal is going to be.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, that actually happened, man. I recorded for somebody, and and they was like, "Oh yeah, man, do your thing, man. We got the track, da 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 da." I did this stuff, and it came out really dope. But then he was like, "Oh man, I forgot to tell you about the singer." I'm like, "Oh, damn." I'm over here going crazy on the track. You know what I'm saying? He's
crazy,
like, "Oh yeah,
bro."
man,
Anyway,
singer.
yes, sir. So anyway, Darren Atwater, he did this arrangement, and it was it's written, if you listen to it, from the standpoint of Mike Brown. Like if you hear my solo and you hear the strings playing, that's the cigarellos that Mike Brown was smoking and had left at the convenience store. When you hear the hits, that's how many times he got shot. When you hear different eerie effects, that's the smoke from the gun. So it's a very visceral arrangement. It wasn't like, oh, let me just do these strings. Like it's thought out. And if you were to see the arrangement, you will see how Darren had basically wrote, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And I talked to him about what I was feeling. He'd be like, okay, let's approach it like that. So it's a special arrangement. Anyway,
that's beautiful.
Had to shout out my man Darren Atwater, one of the greats.
Yo, shout out to that. Like I said, that string arrangement was beautiful, man. So we know we're not gonna waste no time. I'm gonna make sure that everybody can hear the music. I'm gonna plug my little headphones in, and we're gonna get into it. So this is MB Lament off of The Musician with my man Keyon Harrold. And without further ado, hold on a second.
What's up, everybody?
Man, thank you again, everybody, for coming to check it out, man. I appreciate y'all. Everybody who's city, if you got a city, shout it out, man. Me and Keyon taking sips for every city we see. And let me know if you can hear the music. I think it should be cool. But here we go. This is MB Lament.
What up, Ringo?
Yo, I got to ask you, too, the personnel, but we'll talk about that after this.
Okay.
Beautiful, man. Woo. Yeah. Woo, man. Beautiful work, man.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
my
Thank you.
goodness. Yeah,
Thank you.
dog. I can take these out. So going from MB's Lament, we get to Wayfaring Traveler, man. Now
My
this
joint.
joint here was crazy, man. But I wanted to ask you before we get into it. So um you know, I it hasn't been necessarily said out loud, but I kind of feel like a lot of ways you like the rapper's trumpeter, man. A lot of a lot of MC, like if an MC has a record, they hitting you up for it. You know what I mean? So you got the chance to work with the immortal Nas
Yes, sir.
on the Jaro of Rap. How did that record come together? And you know, as far as like your relationship with the MCs, is this something that you've accumulated throughout the years, or is it just now more word of mouth? Like, yo, you the cat. They told me to hit you up, you know?
Man, there's so many, so many ways to talk about that. First of all, as a musician, when I first moved to New York City, I wanted to be the jazz guy, following the steps of Wynton Marsalis. That's what I wanted to do. Potentially being a Lincoln Center. That's what I wanted to do. But the first thing that happened to me was I started working with Chicago's own Common. Like the first gig, the first professional gig I ever did, which is one of the first gigs I ever did, was touring with Common. The only time I ever auditioned for anything, what was that, and that opened up my horizon to a lot of different things, and before that, like I said, I was straight ahead, period. I don't want to hear shit else, nothing else, straight ahead.
That's what's funny about that is that it was really the same way for me in high school, man. Like it was rap and hip rap. It was hip hop and gospel.
Me too.
And jazz. And that was, I mean, and you ain't telling me about nothing else. I wasn't
right. But the thing is, even the idea of rap and gospel, it wasn't even something that I wanted to play. I listened to it because I had to go to church. Both of my parents were pastors. Listening to hip hop because that's just what the culture was. But I didn't, aspire to say, I want to work with this, this kind of artist. So that whole industry opened up to me, being in a situation to, going to the studio with Common and, D'Angelo was down at Electric Lady, because I'd be coming from the new school. He'll be working on like Water for Chocolate, which is 20 years ago today. D'Angelo was working on Voodoo. He was in Studio A. Bilal was up working on, Firstborn Second. Erykah Badu was working on Mama's Gun. And I was, walking down the street, come be like, yo, come to the studio. Come meet me at the studio. And these people be walking in and out. Or I'd be listening to, Erykah, recording like Green Eyes. Like crazy. Wow. Like when I think about it in retrospect. And I was like,
so all those albums, I think I remember that. That was the Soul
Aquarian, and Roy was doing that stuff. Shout out and rest in peace to Roy. Because at that time, Common needed a trumpet player. Roy was doing his own shit at that time, big time. But he had did the record, so it was like, okay, we need a trumpet player who can sit in for and be the voice of Roy. So that changed my whole trajectory as to how I saw music. That got me into music production. That got me into, everything else. But anyway, going back.
No, that's what's up. No, man. All right. Here's my other question. Now, if you playing with a lot of rappers, eventually at some point a cipher will commence.
Indeed.
So did you jump into cipher? Did you get a couple bars off?
Listen, that's one thing that I'll never fake the funk. I'm not a rapper. I can't rap. I'm whack. I ain't got no flow. Keys got a flow. Glasper got a flow. I don't got no flow. I'll just do the beat.
I used to rap a little bit, man.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Okay, we got to do a cipher. It can be comedy from my standpoint. I will try to rap, but I'm whack though, and that's my.
Oh yeah. But I gotta be at this point. I gotta be elevated to kick any bars. If any bars are happening, I gotta be at another level.
Word.
But look, you see Milton. Chris can rap. Yeah.
Okay.
He met me. He met me in college, man. He met me in college, and I was just, but in high school, man, you know, I was trying to come up with legit ways of making money.
Word.
So like, you know, I used to rap in my little marching band uniform, and look, I used to rap in my marching band uniform, and I would be whack at first, and then, you know, when people started putting money up, then we get into it. You know what I'm saying? But that worked for 1 year. It was junior
bars.
year. After,
Jalil said, "Drop a quick 16." What up, Jalil?
I ain't nearly drunk enough for that. So
we're gonna have to start doing these. We're gonna have to start doing these joints late night.
Dog, you know, it's interesting. I mean, I kind of like this time because it's like a little break from the day or whatever. But man, you know, I don't know. I'm open to whatever, you know. So the people, y'all let me know if y'all want to hear it at night. Let me know if y'all like it during this time. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make this a people-driven experience. With that, so we're gonna get into this track. Shout out to Georgia, wherever she's at, man. I mean, just an incredible talent, man.
Yes, sir. Georgia and Muldrew, the truth. Jermaine Holmes, my brother.
Jermaine.
And on this track was, I don't know. First of all, I'll come back to the question that you asked me earlier, and I totally deviated about the Nas track. I'll come back to that. But about this track, I have been going through a divorce. I'm sure none of y'all know about that. But so I was traveling back and forth from my house to the city, back to the city, and I have all of my stuff got stolen. I was parked in NYC. And matter of fact, I was we had did this trumpet summit at the Jazz Gallery. Myself,
I think I remember that. Your laptop and all that got took?
Yeah, everything got stolen. So I lost all my music. I was working on another album. So anyway, it just so happens that I had recorded this track in LA, and the studio was able to basically have the basic track. And thank God I lost everything else. So the only two tracks that lasted from that was Stay This Way, the one with Bilal, and this one, Wayfarer and Traveler. With Georgia and Muldrew, Chris Dave, Sam Barsh. From Chicago.
Yeah.
Well,
who's the personnel on this record, man? Like the main group, you know, the main core.
On the entire album, the main personnel was my boy Mark Kohlenberg on drums.
Yes, from St. Louis all day.
Yes, sir. And Chris Daddy Dave on drums.
Yeah.
Berners Travis on the bass.
Yeah. Boom Bishop.
Who else? Shedrick Mitchell on the keys.
Yes, sir.
James Poyser on the keys.
Yes, sir.
Robert Glasper is on this record. Wayfarer and Traveler. Robert Glasper, Sam Barsh, Chris Dave, Berners Travis, Marcus Strickland, Jermaine Holmes, and Georgia and Muldrew.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it a little bit. There was a part. Let me see here. We'll just start it at the beginning. This is Wayfarer Traveler, man, off the Musician. We're gonna check out a little bit of this, man. Banger. Woo! Marcus be singing on the bass player.
Yes, sir. Too. No question about it.
Man, I want to get into some more of the album, man. But we,
Yes,
more of the
sir.
tracks. But we'll be here all day, man.
Yes, sir.
So dope, man. We got a couple minutes left, so I wanted to ask you. I remember when the CD dropped, and Sarah Jessica Parker from Sesame City